Heatblast and Swampfire. One of Ben's, first aliens he's ever transformed into, both in Alien Force and the original series. But what would happen if they both fought? Well, that's what I'm going to answer today with this, entire video. We're gonna have, Heatblast and Swampfire fight and determine who would actually win through feats, abilities, and whatnot. So, let's just get right into, the whole premise of this video, why don't we? First, let's of course start with Heatblast, since, he is the original, and let's go right into his abilities, and, obviously the first one is his pyrokinetic abilities, because, he's a pyronite. And because he's a pyronite, he can do many of these, pyrokinesis-based abilities, like making fireballs, or even giant forms of them, as he can make them pretty much any size, with some exceptions. He can also make giant streams of fire, kind of like a laser, but, a fire, so not a laser. He can even shape his fire into different, objects or constructs, like a flame blade. I think at one point he makes a flame disc. You'll see them up here, and a couple other, instances. But he has also notably been shown to actually absorb fire even, and although at first it didn't seem that he can absorb a lot at once, but later we've seen that no, he can. He has also been shown to use, his fire abilities in very smart ways, like melting objects to basically make a barricade, or trapping those dastardly little electric creatures, in their little glass bubble of non-conductive glass, which is smart. He also has multiple ways of transportation, like through a fire tornado, which he can also transport normal people without hurting them, and can even transport through either like riding on a fireball or even through telekinesis. Yes, he can also manipulate Earth to a certain extent, and it's actually his favorite way of transporting himself, which is funny since he's a fire dude, but he's also a rock dude, so I guess this makes sense. He has also been shown to be completely immune to other fire attacks, basically, and has been shown to be at least resistant to ice, as he's been encapsulated in ice but has, broken out of it before. Now, going on to his feats themselves, first, he was able to start an entire forest fire in little to no time in his first, actual appearance. He was able to melt an entire street and turn it into tar to essentially encapsulate and stop Vilgax for a short amount of time. He survives an entire hardware store exploding, was able to turn an entire giant water monster into steam, and also, another water feat, he evaporates the entire Fountain of Youth and also creates this giant crater. He also turns an entire Lenopen to stone, which are like, big blood aliens, and was able to knock over energy and even tank an attack from him. So, yeah. Now, going on to Swampfire, he has, many plant-like abilities because he's a Methanosian, so he's able to essentially control plants. He has either been shown to do that through plants that are just in the vicinity, or he's able to throw out seeds to essentially control them, like vines and, other stuff. Also, because he's a plant, he can produce methane, which he can either use to, put him, other people to sleep, or he can even use it to light fires. Yeah, as a sort of pseudo-pyrokinesis, essentially. He can either do this for fireballs or just streams of fire to attack his opponents, or just unthaw himself in case he's encased in ice or something similar. And of course, because of his plant-like nature, he can also regenerate, and, once we get to the feats, you'll see how insane that regeneration really can get. And of course, with his plant-like abilities, he can do, similar things to Heatblast, as he can make weapons with them, like whips and, other things. And when he eventually reached his bloom form, many of his, plant-like abilities got boosted, and stronger in fact, as beforehand, well, before he bloomed, he actually wasn't able to, well, control a certain sentient species, but he can pretty much control these pumpkin monsters, or at least anything similar enough to them. As well as having better control over his chlorokinesis, like making giant walls of vines, and he might also be physically stronger and might have better fire as well. Going on to his feats, he was able to knock down an entire hybrid weather tower, survive a sewer explosion, this one specifically, was able to pull out a teleporter pad from the floor and throw it a good distance, restricted a hybrid commander with his vines, which Humongosaur actually struggles with sometimes, and commanded an entire living pumpkin army, and beforehand was able to, well, take them out in his bloom form. Now, with all of those feats presented as they are, who would actually win between these two? And personally, based off of what we've seen, it's extremely clear cut. Even comparing their, well, both of their best feats, both of, Heatblast destroying the Fountain of Youth and destroying that water monster, both put him at small town level, while in terms of the lifting strength or general strength of Swampfire, lifting the hybrid weather tower is at best like room level, or just like at least small building level, which is not nearly close to Heatblast. And even him tanking the sewer feat is not nearly impressive as, well, the other feats I've shown. And, well, although he has been shown to have some sort of, resistance to fire, it's not comparable to someone like Heatblast, who can quite literally nuke an entire town if he wanted to. So, yeah, Plant Guy versus Fire Guy probably wasn't the best match for a video, I guess, so yeah. Also, just to finish things off, literally he would have to rely on his plant powers, because the fire powers, well, they wouldn't really work on Heatblast, if I'm going to be completely honest, because he could just absorb it or just tank it outright, because it just, well, wouldn't affect him because he's a literal fire alien. So yeah. Also, though he probably could put Heatblast to sleep in a battle setting, it probably is not likely to happen more times out of 10 to just put him to sleep or whatever, which wouldn't even give him a win because he has no way of outright killing Heatblast in the first place. So basically, just to wrap things up, the winner of this, well, fight in general is in fact Heatblast. I hope you guys liked this video, as, well, I don't really have the animators of, like, Death Battle or anything similar, or the money to even pay someone to do that anyway, but I hope you guys get a gist of who would actually win, or at least somewhat of how this battle would turn out. So yeah, I'll probably make more videos like this in the future, and this will probably be a continuing series. Though, going to the poll that I made, it seems that the next video you guys want is, well, Big Chill versus Ghost Freak, two of Ben's ghost-like aliens. So yeah, I guess the next video we'll see how that will turn out. So anyway, if you guys have any suggestions for, like, versus matches in Ben 10 or whatever, this could be Ben 10's aliens or other characters, just, duking it out, seeing who would win, then just, tell them down in the comments. Or if you have any other, ideas for videos, you can post them down there and I might actually make a video about it. If you want to, see more videos like this in the future, go ahead and, well, subscribe, like the video if, well, you liked it, and join the Discord if you want to, hang out, talk about Ben 10 or other topics in general. And I hope you guys liked the video, and yeah.